Pantry, and as you see in the title, I'm making salsa. I've got more tomatoes from the garden, tons of peppers from the garden, serrano peppers, the sweet heat red peppers. I've got garlic and onions, cilantro, some salt, some vinegar, and I'm going to use some chipotle peppers in adobo. So it's going to be such a delicious salsa. And I'm going to water bath can this, so I'm following the guidelines from a couple of different recipes in the bulk canning book, and so we know that it's safe to water bath can. Anyways, I'm going to get all my tomatoes ready. The veggies over here are pretty well on their way. I'm just going to go ahead and throw these peppers and the onion and garlic and all that in my Tupperware Power Chef. Anyway, okay. I am super excited. Now, these serranos, I've seeded and taken the ribs out, but let's come on in close and I'll let you see up close how I'm doing this. Okay, so I've got my peppers down in there, and now I've got about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 cloves of garlic. It wasn't quite a whole bulb of garlic, but I like a lot of garlic in my salsa, so that's what I did. Now, you get the lid on, and I'm going to put this right down into the pot because this does cook on the stove for a little bit before you can it. And I'm going to puree this, so it really just needs a rough chop to break it down. Ooh, I can smell the capsaicin. Whew. It's gonna be spicy. Okay, so I've got my 12 quart Cuisinart pot that I'm gonna use. This is pretty much my go-to whenever I'm doing a large batch of canning type things. I'm gonna get my onion cut up and we'll get that in the chopper. The tomatoes, I'm just gonna quarter or halve them. So when I go to puree this, the immersion blender will take care of it. So the cilantro is gonna go in last because I don't want it pureed into the mixture. We're just gonna go ahead and actually, I don't even know if I need to chop these onions. I can cook these down. You're really gonna cook them until they're soft enough to puree, so we'll just go ahead and leave those in chunks. Come on in. Okay, so I've got all my tomatoes cut up and they are in here. I wanna, I'm not gonna put the chipotle peppers in until this cooks down and I can actually taste it as I go. I've got some true lime here because I do like lime flavor in my salsa as well. So I want a tablespoon of that. Now you could use lime juice. Let's see how it describes this. I think it tells you. So a tablespoon of this, well, it'd help if I could read how small that print is. Oh, so a teaspoon equals 2 tablespoons of juice. So anyways, 4 teaspoons equals half a cup of lime juice. So there's a lot of lime flavor in there. I put this in my water to help me drink water. I'm also gonna put down some fine Himalayan pink salt, and we're gonna do a tablespoon because tomatoes love salt. If I need to salt it a little bit later, I will. And for our acid, we're gonna do 2 things. All the recipes that I see use a cup to a cup and a quarter of vinegar, and this is 5% acidity. So we're gonna put a cup and a half of vinegar, and then in each pint jar, I'm also gonna add citric acid to each pint jar because we wanna make sure our acid is correct. So 1, and we'll just eyeball this half. And we're gonna get this on the stove and let it cook down. Everything's gonna macerate and become delicious. Oh, and you know, I need some cumin in here as well. So I'll get that in and we'll get this on the stove. Okay, so I put down 2 tablespoons of cumin. I'm also going to put down a heaping tablespoon of Mexican oregano. Can't have salsa without all that flavor. Now, when I always make my salsa a little bit spicy, on the spicy side, and then as it sits on the shelf, it continues to get a little more spicy. So when I open a jar, you know, 6 months from now, I can add fresh cherry tomatoes, a little green onion, and I will have what feels like fresh salsa, and it'll stretch my pint of salsa even further. All right, guys, I'll bring it back when this is cooked down enough and let you know. It's gonna take, I'm probably gonna cook it for about half hour, 45 minutes until I can puree it. It's gonna be a restaurant style salsa. Okay, so now I'm ready to puree my tomatoes. See how much liquid came out of those? I'm gonna get this all pureed. I'm actually going to chop up some cilantro and throw that in before I get it in the jars, and the citric acid, and we're gonna do a little bit of a taste test to see how much of the chipotle I want. Okay, so I took some out so I could taste it, and look, it's really nice. It's like a restaurant style, but I think, I don't know, I'm kind of debating. It's so good. It's absolutely delicious. Definitely not enough heat for me, so we're gonna add chipotle peppers. Oh my goodness. I love chipotle peppers and adobo sauce. Are absolutely delicious. So we're gonna go ahead and these come in a tin, and we're just gonna keep that tasting going. I've got tasting spoons right next to my stove, so we'll get 1 in there. We want some of that adobo sauce too. Let's do 2 to start, and lots of adobo. And then we'll go from there. And I'm kind of contemplating, I might just add some diced jalapenos, seeded, but diced up and not puree them in. I haven't quite decided yet. All right, so let's get another tasting spoon, even though this is really hot. And the skins just pretty much disappear. None of my tomatoes had really tough skins. And we eat the skin when we eat them in salad, so I don't mind. If you want to go through the hassle of taking the skins off, you can. Okay, it's still not hot enough. I'm gonna put the whole can of chipotle peppers in adobo. And these are spicy. It's a smoked jalapeno with the seeds and everything. So it definitely is spicy. Now let's get another taste here and see if we've got it hot enough. If I don't have enough spice in this spoonful, I'm gonna go ahead and add some diced jalapeno. And then we're done, and we can jar this up. I think it'll be pretty. Well, we're not done. I'm going to add the chopped cilantro, a full bundle. I think it'd be pretty with the green pieces in there from the jalapeno. Ooh, yum. It's still not hot, but it's got a wonderful flavor. It really does. I think I'm just gonna add some chopped up jalapeno and the cilantro and call it good. We're gonna jar it up. All right, I'll meet you at the filling station. So guys, in each jar, I've put a 1/4 teaspoon of citric acid. at the bottom of my jar. We're gonna go ahead and start filling. These jars are hot right out of the dishwasher. Here's my salsa. It is absolutely delicious. I did add the jalapenos. I also added some delicious hatch chilies that my friend over at Apron Strings sent me last year from her freeze dryer. And it's just adding another layer of the flavor with the chipotle and the adobo. Oh, it's so good. It's absolutely wonderful. And you would be able to use this in any Tex-Mex recipe. I quite often use salsa for salad dressing. So I don't necessarily have to have it with chips. We need a 1/2 inch of headspace, which is right about there. Let's move that out of the way. And once you get a 1/2 inch, you don't need to debubble because it's liquid. We're okay there. I'm gonna go ahead with a flat, get that on top, and a ring, and this is super hot. It's going in the water bath canner. The canner is hot and ready to rock and roll here any second. So, but look how pretty that is. You have that flecks of green. It's just beautiful. I'm excited to see how my daughter likes it. So I'll be going over there for dinner as soon as I'm done with this. This is gonna water bath can once it comes up to a boil for 15 minutes. Then I'll turn it off, take the lid off, let it sit for 5 minutes, and then pull it out of the canner. All right, guys, let's get it in the canner. Oh, I wanna see how many jars I get. I've got over a gallon, I'm pretty sure. This is a 12 quart pot. It's well, it was more than half. I let it reduce down. So I'm excited to see how many pint jars I get. All right, we'll be back. The canner went after it got to that rolling boil, and this boils hard. I did it for 15 minutes. I took the lid off, turned it off, took the lid off, and it's been sitting here for 5 minutes. And so now we have, already popping, home canned salsa. Hopefully the lighting is okay. I know pointing the camera towards the window, but I've got 2 more pint jars that I need to can. There's enough for 2 more pint jars and possibly 2 1.5 pint jars. So that's what was clean in the dishwasher. So that's what I'm gonna can up. But this is enough salsa for me for probably 2 years. But I can give it as gifts. You know, there's always that. And I try not to tip my jars, but sometimes it's a hard habit to break. Before it seals, that lid is still venting. So beautiful, beautiful, out of the garden. And I have not made salsa in 2 years. I still have 1 quart jar left on the shelf from 2 years ago. So guys, I hope this inspires you to go ahead and try your hand at home canning. I'll bring you back when I have all the jars out on the counter and let you know how. Okay guys, so I have 12 pints that have all sealed. Everything's sealed. They're still warm, but they're all sealed, and 2, actually it was 3 half pints, which is fantastic. That's a huge batch of salsa. And so I hope that it inspires you to, if you haven't already done this, go ahead and figure out how you can do your own home canning from your garden or your farmer's market and put up your salsa for the year, because that's enough salsa for me for a year. Anyway, I enjoyed some of this with my daughter tonight, and came back here, and now I'm gonna let these rest until tomorrow, where I will take off the rings. Even though they've all sealed, I will take the rings off, date them and label what they are, and put them in my extended pantry and on my hutch for use throughout the year. All right, guys. I can't wait to see you next time, and I hope you check the links below, give me a thumbs up, share it on your Facebook page, do all those good things, and let me know what you want to see next. All right. Bye.